Hi, this is Ed, and I'm in Big Bear Lake, California, and we have a wonderful show today. And I want to introduce everybody on the program. Our leader will be Dianne Devitt, who's coming from the New York area, and she is a professional in media awareness and media training. Hello, Dianne. Please
Hi.
say, and please intro yourself briefly.
Thank you, Ed. Yes, I've been involved in meeting and event production for 30 years, and with the switch over to virtual, it's been a very exciting time. And in terms of finding a niche in the landscape, and also being able to help people with my theater background and their presence, which we'll talk about today. So thanks for having me.
All right, thank you very much. And so let's welcome everybody on this teleconference. I understand we have Sandrine Bardot on the line from Dubai.
Bye. Yes, hello everybody. It's the evening for me, so good morning or good afternoon for you all.
Yes, okay. Dianne from Washington, D.C.
Hi, I'm Yvonne. I'm based in Washington, D.C., and it's nearly lunchtime.
Great. Thank you very much for joining us again, Yvonne. So further introducing you to these people, why don't you say some words about your position today?
You mean where I work? Oh,
Yeah.
I work for the World Bank Family Network, and we're part of the World Bank Group. And our role is to support families as they move around the world, coming into DC and out of DC to our 140 offices. So we basically support the talent management of the bank.
Mm-hmm.
Great. Well, thank you again for being involved. I'm going to be discussing our show tomorrow because so many people got the wrong thing. But we're going to have others joining us on this program. And if you're in the background right now, please speak up and introduce yourself. All right, we're going to move along. Let's go back to Dianne. So Dianne, about media training, first of all, let me say that I'm here in the resort area, which is of course very nice, but I forgot to pack my power cord. And so I'm doing this on my mobile for the first time. And so I don't have my notes in front of me, but I have a fairly good memory at times. I'm not sure about today. So Dianne, what happens to you when you have a screw up like I've just done for myself?
Well, this is the good thing about the landscape we're in nowadays, Ed, is although it's changing, jumping in and producing these events using a Zoom platform, we're not, and we haven't been in a perfect stage, because of what's been going on this year and the adjustment to our new lifestyles while we handle COVID. Having casual backgrounds, I deliberately leave my screen half and half so that you get a little sneak into the room, okay? While I keep a little professional edge so that you focus on me when I'm speaking. So
yeah, but I do like your plant.
Oh, thank you. It's eucalyptus, and it's a nice fragrance too, which is, so it has a dual purpose. But getting back to your question is, people are tolerant. People have been tolerant to accepting things that go wrong in this space. Now, on the flip side, in speaking to some of my colleagues this week who work for some major global companies and who are responsible for virtual meetings with customers and so on, the expectations of things not going wrong is growing, just like in the live world. So we're at a place where rehearsals are mandatory, and we have to remember that in this new landscape, it's production. We're all producers now.
So, okay, so we're on camera. Everyone will be on their show will have their few minutes of worldwide exposure, whether they want it or not. They're on TV. So
That's
a lot
correct.
of people do not have training about how to hold their head, including me, and how to look at the camera. I don't even know where it is on this phone, so I'm moving my head around.
You're doing a
But,
good job.
You're nice. So I have the outside light shining in on me rather than that ring light. And I'm sitting here in our kitchen here, so you can see the knotty pine behind me. But usually I'm over there at the desk and much more professional looking.
Right.
So you, in your background, have done so many things in theater and TV and live performances. You're a producer. So I want to zero in on just a couple of things. The book you wrote some time ago about what color is your meeting, or something.
Yeah, what
like
color
that.
is your event? Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. So what does that refer to? The brightness of it, or the serenity of it? What?
Well, it's not literal term of color. Actually, it has to do with the personality and the feeling and the environment, because every color, as you know, has attributes. You know, blue is calming, green is a little more stimulating, red is powerful and grounding. So when you understand the literal definition of color, you can use it from a production point of view. You know, but to your point and reference with my work in production, I had actually coined a phrase a couple of years ago called the theater of meetings, or the theater of events. And now, in moving forward, I'm actually now writing about the theater of virtual events, because everyone on this screen right now is an actor. Everyone.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
you're the producer. You know, you're making this happen. Now, I don't say this in a flippant way. I say this from a production sense, because as we move forward, especially in business, which is of course my focus, your impression on the screen is visually 90% impact to your customers, to your employees, to your staff, to the other people watching. And so one of the major goals and things I'm trying to work on with corporate clients is to say, hey, let me in and work with your team, because even if it's a casual meeting, people are making an impression of me in 3 to 7 seconds based on my screen presence. You know?
So your blue-green headband is supposed to be a calming effect, right?
Well, you know, it's kind of been my COVID look. It's my brand, Ed. I started wearing headbands when you couldn't get your hair cut. And so it just became a staple. So the Dianne Devitt look is pearls, headband, and always one of my little pins, which I love to collect. And this is the style top I wear. In the winter, I'll probably add a jacket. But, you know, think about this. I mean, because I'm online a lot, I produce this, you know, my various shows like you, it's branding. So, you know, again, what is the impression and what is the look that you have? Your black, which we'll get to in a minute, but everybody has a certain branding and what works for them so that it becomes identifiable. You know, that's how I use it.
Yeah, great. So Sandrine, hello, and tell us how your day was today.
My day went very well today in Dubai. I had a meeting with a former colleague of mine, and we have devised a plan to launch a new product online very soon, to make a partnership, and we started to work on that. And we didn't quite plan on it, but it just happened, and we gelled. We had a similar idea, and so that was good. And I changed my virtual background today to a different photo of Dubai, because I just wanted to experiment with this one. I like the color. It's a little bit lighter than the previous ones I've used. So I'm trying to make the most of Diane's advice today, because I've been exposed to speaking on camera quite extensively lately, but I don't have any formal training. So any tip is always a good addition. So thank you.
So that's great. So if you don't mind, I'd like to ask Dianne to not give you a critique, but just advise about what you're doing. Is that okay?
Well, you live in Dubai, Sandrine.
Yes.
So having that as a background, I like the background for two reasons. Number one, the positioning of your head is primarily in the water. So you're not cutting the skyline of the city behind you, which, it's all about balance. It's all about balance. And again, from a theatrical point of view, in the theater, you sit in a chair, think about it, and you look on a stage. So when that theater designer is designing a backdrop, they're designing it in perspective to your viewing it. And we have to remember, in the little frames that we're given in this new world we're in, is to keep things smaller. So I've been to the Burj Al Arab, by the way. Thanks for reminding me. But I like the positioning. I like the colors. They're not distracting. What you might want to do if you use this background is consider wearing a sort of an orange gold color that actually picks up the sky, the color of the sky, so that you're then you're not clashing with it. And I will and just two more things, because what you wear makes a difference. You don't want to wear prints online. This I get away with because it's a little bit of a trademark and it's hidden by my mop, right? But you don't want to distract people with ruffles or prints or wrinkles. No wrinkled shirts, Yeah.
Okay.
But it works.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Well, thank you for your willingness to participate. So Mark Colo, hello and good morning.
Good morning, Ed. Good to be here.
Yeah, thank you for being on the show again. So Dianne, Mark and I are friends from the mobility industry. He's based in Southern California, and his company, of which he's Senior VP Sales, is called Chipman Relocation Logistics, with facilities up and down the West Coast. Mark, let's see you, and I want you to tell us just a little bit how business has been this summer for you.
Well, that's a big question. It's been up and down. It's been all over the planet as far as business points, but it's been different. And the hard thing I think about this whole COVID situation is we really can't predict the future. It'd be nice if we could, but this could be the new norm. I mean, doing business with video and these kind of broadcasts, this might be the new norm. So I don't know. But to answer your question, our business has been good. We've done very well in this environment. There's some industries that have shut down completely, but ours is not one of them. We still have to get products to put from point A to point B in an expeditious manner and a safe manner and on time. So it's just for us, it's business as usual, Ed. So we're still keeping busy.
Thank you very much for that quick insight. We'll come back to that. But now from a media point of view, do you have specific questions about media presence and Zoom fatigue and, how you use video? And do you have, so will it be okay if Dianne just looks at you and this picture behind you and just does a quick 30 seconds? Is that all right?
I'm wide open to learning. I would love to learn how to do this better.
Yeah. You know what? And thank you, Ed. And thanks, Mark. And so here's the thing, Mark, this new world is never going away. Okay. Just to assuage that, it is never going away. All right. Whatever away is, we have emerged in a different place. We are far more connected than we were. Global, I mean, the term global is almost an oxymoron now because there is no corner office. So hybrid meetings will always be here. Hybrid meeting, a combination of live and virtual. So screen presence is critical. Now, in your case, you have your company name. I'm sorry, I don't know the logo. Would it be wrong for you to have a backdrop designed virtual with your logo in it? Small, small in the upper hand corner. we joked this morning, but I thought you had a little confetti going on because after all, I come from the events world. But we have to be careful about, again, what colors we wear. Don't ever wear anything reflective, because reflective is like a mirror, holding a flashlight to a mirror. A flashlight to a mirror, and you get that, right?
Okay.
Now, so all of that matters in because of the new production requirements in our life, because they're distracting. If I'm having a business meeting with you, Mark, me being so visual, I'm listening to you, but I'm looking at this going on.
Yeah.
And in my sensory research, which I've done, our senses overrule one another. So you might be speaking to me about a very critical business concept, but I'm so distracted looking at this or the background that's not working, I don't hear you. Got it? So the more harmonious, the more real. Remember, people want authenticity now.
Yeah.
So if you've got a bookshelf in your office, clean it off and sit and use that as a point to be, your business is doing good, knock wood, keep it going.
Okay.
Yeah.
Any color suggestions?
The only thing yes, so you're kind of, you're not supposed to really wear black. Ed gets away with it. It's his trademark. He can do it. But on the camera, you don't like, Yvonne's color is so complimenting to her. Sandrine, your colors there, the turquoise are complimenting. I just gave you that advice to blend in with your background. Not blend in, but harmonize with it, balance it. Okay. So I would just say to you is think about more like I have this blue, but maybe not as bright a blue, but maybe a more muted blue, like a light denim color, huh? Blue always works well on screens.
Okay.
And the other thing I just want to point out, because Ed brought it up, is the windows. We don't want to have reflection, you see, and Ed, I can use your, I know you're in a situation dealing with it today, which is great. The show must go on no matter what. But do you see the reflection in his glasses from the window? And Yvonne, the window that's on your right, okay, we never want to let a window in our space. Causes too much reflection and imbalance on our facial expression. So sometimes I close the blinds around me, but that's also another trick. Yes. Now, if do you have a desk lamp by any chance? Do you have a lamp on your desk? Do you see Yvonne's face, how it changed, everyone?
Yeah.
Yes. I mean, for the better in a way, right? Oh, see, now come a little closer, Yvonne. Come a little closer to your, okay. All right, a little bit, perfect. I mean, now the background is white, but her face is not.
Yeah.
You see that? If you can reach out your arm and touch your camera, that's the proper length that you should be away from your camera. That's the distance, pretty much. All right, that's the distance.
So I just put a table lamp on. Is that too much of a brightness?
No, I don't think so. But what I'm looking at is whatever's hanging over your shoulder. I can't see what's on the wall there. Oh, I see. Okay, so half of your head was covering the clock there. And again, Ed, it's a very, appropriate piece for where you are, but either be to the left of it or be to the right of it. If it's going to be a state, you see, instead of blocking it. Does everyone see that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dianne, a question. May I ask a question, Ed?
Yes.
Because I'm very intrigued. Is it better then to have a background like Sandrine's rather than this is just my room?
It depends on the objective and on your objective. Just like a live meeting has objectives, goals, and strategies, so does your online presence. So because this is our new world, when 3 months ago or 4 months ago, when I was on these calls and people would blast the logos of their company in the back, it was inappropriate. It's like yelling at you. None of us want to be sold to right now in that landscape. The right thing was let me into my personal life so that we can connect as people, because we're not doing that physically. So Sandrine, I don't know your line of business, but she's here representing Dubai. So if she was representing Dubai, then it's appropriate. Yvonne, if you're giving a talk to the new people who just relocated to Washington, D.C., you need them to focus on your words. So therefore, the more neutral your background is, the better. You see? And with women too, you know, and I have a list here, is what you wear. So we spoke a little bit about what you wear, not shiny, this and that, all of that. But even like, you see how your neckline, Yvonne, that's it. Like just the simplicity of that. No scarves, no nothing, no dangling earrings, nothing to distract me.
So that's a business talk, not a friend.
That's a business talk. That's a business talk, not a friend's happy hour. Although that brings up a really good point, Ed. I was on a Zoom call just last week with friends celebrating my birthday, and one of the women who is always poised, always coiffed, always so presentable in terms of presentation skills, was there, you know, laying on her bed, had her laptop on her, no makeup. Do you know that some of us didn't recognize her? We know this woman for 15 years. No matter what, it's still an impression, unless it's your family, right? It's friends and it's stuff. You really have to be very mindful that you are live all the time, and people see things. When I go on certain business meetings, I think people forget that they're live. They're eating, they're chewing, they're wrapping, they're petting the dog, they're doing this, they forget that they're live.
So a lot of people, particularly in a business setting, are not used to the camera, are not used to show business, or always poo-pooed it as well. That's Hollywood. That's not me.
Yeah.
Or, you know, I'm more of a, let's just say, Northern European, self-deprecating manner.
Low key, right? Low key.
Yeah. We, not me. And so, of course, it's different in other areas, but let's just focus on personality. And people are either quote unquote embarrassed for themselves, or don't want to put themselves in a situation which could be not expert or not thought of as being expert. So this is a very nerve-wracking time for a lot of people.
Yes.
Would you agree?
Yes, I would, because just the concept of getting used to speaking into a camera. Now, I sit with my camera above my screen, but I'm looking at you right now, 1 inch below the camera. So do I look like I'm looking right at you right now? You have to tell me.
Yes.
Okay. So because now I'm looking at Mark on the screen. Now I'm looking at Yvonne on the screen. Now I'm looking at producer Paul. You see? So this is the advent of the virtual director. So which is going to affect what? Business presentations or online interviews. It's a lot to think about. And just to your point, Ed, some people are in show business and some people aren't.
So I want to note that and move on to speaking style, diction. You know, some people use a dialect from the region where they're from and are proud of it, and yet it's could be very foreign to me, to others. So talk about pacing, talk about style, use of hands. Do people are better suited to sit or to stand?
Well, if you have the ability to set up one of those desks that up and down, and you have the ability to have a stand, which I'm actually incorporating by next month, then I say, wonderful, then stand. As long as you're in that frame in a presentable fashion, you're not too far away. See, if I go too far away, you see the difference?
Yes,
You don't have the same impact. I'm not at the table.
that's right.
I'm not sitting at the table with you versus being so close that it's intimidating. And that's
Yeah,
why
like
see?
you're in my space.
I am in your space. Exactly. I'm in your space, or I'm too far away, which is body language for what? I don't want to be here.
Right.
Okay. So the concept of using hands, you see, now if I want to make a point, or I want to say fabulous, how we were all doing those virtual claps and stuff. Use it in proportion, but you don't want to distract. You don't want to be scratching. You don't want to be adjusting. I was watching Kamala, at the DNC, and I was thinking about her. The women might have picked this up. Her hair was in her eye at one point during a speech, and I thought, is she going to fix it, or is she going to leave it? And she left it, and then went off camera, and then she must have fixed it and came back. But just doing that distracts people a little bit. Let me just get back to body language. So you just saw the examples I gave you of in your face, or too far away, or facial expressions. Now, when you're in a meeting, and again, when you're in a live meeting, you've got a real person there. That real person hopefully is looking at you, connecting with you. You're either smiling, you have some kind of reaction to them. On the screen, it's important to react to people, because we don't realize how serious we get sometimes. And the more serious we are, the more focused we are, we forget to breathe. And then, we just get that look like I have when I teach my students after an hour. So it's important to have some kind of facial expression. Helps you to connect. Now, let me give you my secret for that. On top of my camera, I have pictures of my friends and I and my family doing crazy things, funny things. So when I'm looking at that 1 inch below the camera peripherally, my eye is picking up people who I love and know, and funny times in my life.
So that's a sense of relaxation, but it's okay then to have that vision and not just be totally mentally consumed by the task at hand.
The task at hand. And the other thing too, if I just might make another point, is production wise, people who are producing this, you're a technical director. Technical director is the person who takes care of sound and lights and staging. And you're your own producer. So your desk area, your production area needs the right lighting. Like I have a special light that I bought. Let me see if I can bend it here and show people online. You see this? It's like 2 rings. You see the rings?
Yeah.
It's a floor lamp, and it sits next to me, and it gives me that ambient lighting that allows just enough without being too distracting, I think. Anyway.
No,
right?
It's good. There's no shadows. And it's not like hot. It's more even.
Right. And you can actually adjust it. Like I'll show you, like that's the lower one. This is it off.
Yeah.
So this is it off. And then, so this is it, and then this is it on.
Yeah. Yeah. So now there's no shadows. It's kind of flat light.
Yeah.
And it's attractive.
Thank you.
So I want to bring in Yvonne from World Bank Family Network. She's the program advisor and is an expert in managing change, helping people manage change. And so many of the people are from around the world that she deals with, and these are employees and family. And particularly in COVID, VUCA crazy times, there's a lot of stress involved. And those people don't want to be on camera. But so Yvonne, would you comment on the video conversations you have with these people and how you handle that stressful situation?
Usually we try to see face to face. So if it's a one-on-one meeting, we have our enterprise system, we use WebEx. So we would invite them for a meeting. We can use Teams. But I was just thinking about what you were saying, Dianne. It's all terribly informal, and people have a variety of settings. I mean, I've talked to clients who are sitting in their bedrooms, and you can see the headboard and stuff like that. And and then conferencing. I guess we have a whole variety, like you. I think when COVID first hit, we have been very much a face-to-face organization. Mm-hmm. So everybody was scrambling to go online. Even I initially had an unease. Sure. Now I'm not so afraid of the camera. I don't like the camera, but it's now become like a necessary part of the toolkit. So that's why I'm here today. I'm fascinated to learn all the things that, you're saying. Actually, I wanted to ask you, where do you buy your lamb?
Actually, I'm happy to say that I got it on Amazon. So I will send the link.
Please.
Ed, I will send the link following. I don't want to search now, but I'm happy to send the link to you. Yes.
Thank you.
Yes.
And so it's how do we become better? I was going to ask you whether you would develop empathy with your clients so I'm not suggesting that I take a conference call from my bed, but be sort of more casual and then have a different look and feel as you suggested for like say a webinar or an online meeting. Do you suggest two ways of communication, or are you always the way you are, Dianne? Now you've got the lighting, you've got your signature branding and all that.
When I'm online in a program like this is how I am. When I'm producing my own shows, this is how I am. Mm-hmm. When I make promo videos, or I'm on a Facebook Live, or then maybe I'm in nature. Maybe I'm in somewhere that is pleasing based on the theme. Mm-hmm. So yesterday, for example, I was making a quick video on interviewing someone who's in catering. So I did it from my kitchen.
Good idea.
Okay. But I have to say, Yvonne, that I'm not a big proponent of bedside chats. I think there's
no, neither am I.
So to speak. I think there's again, is it distracting or is it comforting that someone let you into that private space in their lives? And that, that's something that you could answer yourself, right? Mm-hmm.
But I personally would never do that. I mean, this is generally my setting.
Right.
But I guess, to be honest, and now be recorded, I guess I now know better. Until today, when I'm listening to you, then I'm thinking, oh, okay, maybe I should get the light. And yes, when I close the window, I can see the difference.
Yes, and maybe a little plant or something that's very innocuous. Again, based on your position, maybe just a little, right? Sandrine's nodding, like a little plant in the background, or something that would soften it a little bit, but give me a little bit of a sense of your space. Yeah, I don't think we should strive for production quality unless we're in a meeting that deems it. And the virtual meeting space and production space is growing leaps and bounds, and the products that are out there are amazing. But again, go back to the basics of a live meeting and objectives and strategies, and I think that helps you. And I also think, and I say this, is companies have a responsibility to train people in this space. The meetings department and the meeting planners They need training in this space. They're so worried about putting on meetings, but what about themselves? So everyone is in school right now.
So I want to say that we have about 8 minutes remaining,
Mm-hmm.
and I apologize, but let's zero in. I need to ask you a question, Dianne, about positioning of the camera. Like, for instance, with Yvonne, it looked like the camera was a little bit off center, like she was on a 60-minute interview, which means to say is very good. But I don't know how to do that. I'm shifting my head now, or shifting my phone here.
Right.
I'm not sure what people are seeing, but it looks like the camera is looking down at you at like a
My camera?
angle.
Yeah, I do. I have it at a very slight angle.
Yeah, so you're not looking exactly at it. It's sort of like you're looking at the audience, and the camera is watching you looking at the audience.
Right. That's right.
But you have a separate camera, right?
I have a separate camera.
I'm using the camera on the laptop.
On the laptop. So I think the positioning of your camera, Yvonne, I think you look wonderful in the frame. And so I do. But what I do is I also change my chair when I'm online. So I don't have the background of a big chair framing me. I sit on a lower secretarial type chair when I'm online. So that's another thing to think about is what are you sitting in and what, like Mark, I would advise you, and I know you can't move because of the virtual background, but if you see if you moved back a little bit and just showed your shoulders.
Yeah.
Right. Because what you don't want to have happen is you don't want to have your screenshot overpowering you. Does everyone see that?
Yeah.
And so, I'm happy to work with you, help you with that, because you want people to focus on Mark when you're speaking.
So I'd like to focus in on Mark for just a second, Dianne, just so you get the perspective.
Mm-hmm.
He's been around in the mobility industry in a leader role for many years and is highly respected, particularly in the medical research community, where Mark and the company specializes in shipping securely brain tissue and high value medical equipment across country, across the world. And it takes a real special know-how to do that. The very, very particular service. And so the image portrayable is really important for Mark. Also, Mark is a founder and a board director of a fabulous charity called findcures.org. Has a lot to do with neurological issues. And he himself is part of that. And they have a golf outing coming up, a charity raiser, which I'm helping to promote too, which is why I'm bringing this up. But what would you suggest for a background image for Mark, considering the executive presence? Doesn't have to be like a dark wood panel thing, does it?
No, not at all. But I'd like to see the logo of your company. And I'd like to just see, I would recommend just a solid color if you wanted a virtual background, just a solid color, something that you need something that says trust. I mean, it's such a important function that you do, Mark. It's life saving. You save lives. So, without raising the flag like the American Red Cross, we need to design something for you that has a sense of not urgency in it, but a sense of relevance, a sense of importance. Choose the right color for that. but also relaxing, because it has to be like, I'm thinking of a sage green or something that is a calming color.
Yeah.
Calming color. You calm people down with what you do.
Yeah. I think that's
So,
all you get right
yeah,
about.
perfect. That's real good. Thank you, Dianne.
You're welcome.
Mark, thank you for participating. So let's go quickly to Sandrine. So Sandrine is a world-renowned expert in international compensation and benefits for very large organizations, and has been for a very long time. She has embarked on a major publicity campaign and has been a chosen speaker, a leader at international meetings, virtually, of course, recently. So in terms of her using the Dubai background, I think that's fabulous. The one that she used last week in a broadcast was of that tall, beautiful building, but on a dark blue night sky. I thought that was really striking and fabulous. Could she put her logo in that dark blue sky without being too much to see?
Too much. I think it would be too much. I think if you did have a logo, Sandrine, I'd put it where you're looking. So for example, I'd put it right next to your left shoulder, maybe something a little, but very small, very discreet, right? Like a little something there as a presence. But yes, I mean, and again, based on what you do, is Dubai relevant to that? Is
So,
Dubai?
in some cases, yes, because some of the trainings that I offer are geographic focused for the GCC.
Mhm.
Other cases, no. And I also have, like you, I have a bamboo screen actually, which is right behind me, and I have a plant as well. So depending, I will use either one.
Right.
But in these conversations here in the evening, I like to show, because Ed has people from all over the world. So I like to show where I'm coming from in those conversations. So sometimes I use one of those backgrounds. And I'm trying to explore different photos of Dubai and the UAE and figure out which ones were better. I like the blue one, but I felt it was very, it's a night photo, so it's more dark. And because I'm already at night as well, I felt that this one, which has the sunset, was probably better. It's pitch black outside for us, but it gives you an impression that it's still, summer evening, late evening. So we don't have that here. It's like night at 7:30 p.m. But it's fine. So I try to explore different options.
Okay, Dianne, why don't you sum up? Thank you for all your detailed tips. It was exactly what I thought this would be, and hoped for it, that it would be very hardcore training today. And we will love to do this again in 3 or 4 weeks and make a series going into the fall. So that people have a library of resources. Dianne, if you're willing to do that, that would be great.
I'd be
Let's
happy
stay
to.
in touch on that. So Dianne, why don't you just announce once again your website and how people can get info about you?
Thank you, Ed. So yes, so my website is diannedevitt.com. I can be reached at dd@diannedevitt.com. And I think just to wrap up today, I'd like to leave it with the concept that I use called visual dynamics. And the understanding that everyone is an actor right now. We're all on the stage. We're all on the big screen. And that the impression that we make on people happens within 3 to 7 seconds. So make it a good one, make it a lasting one, and understand that how you look, what you say, what you wear, what is around you are all deliberate choices to represent you and the impact you make in business, personal, or family.
Great. Thank you, Dianne. Sandrine, how can people get in touch with you? What is your website?
On compensationinsider.com, and the email is sandrine@compensationinsider.com.
Okay, Mark Colo, how can people reach you?
You can go to my website, my email address, which is mcolo@chipman, chip like potato chip, man.com. So it's chipmanreload.com. I'm sorry. So it's
Okay, mcolo@chipmanreload.com.
chipmanreload.com. That's probably the easiest way to get me.
Okay, thank you for participating, Mark.
Sure. And it's been educational. Thank you.
Yeah, okay.
Do we have time for one final question for Dianne? Do you have just one more minute?
Sure.
Because I was wondering, because Mark has a green screen he mentioned. So if you have a green screen to put up a virtual background, are there some closing colors that are not good, not working with that? Do you need to have a contrasting color or a similar color?
No, forget, a green screen can be anything. But again, you don't, in this world, you don't want to yell at me with red. And I love red, but I don't wear red unless I'm going to make a statement on Valentine's Day or American Red Cross. You don't want to yell at someone with a very bright, but you want to wear something that is sort of a middle of the road. Like you see the impact this has, right? This is that royal blue. See now, Mark, look at the difference.
Yeah.
You see the difference do you see the difference, Sandrine?
Yeah,
We just have to add a little bit something to you. We have to work on your lighting, Mark, so that you don't get shined on the top. You want to get it even distributed, right?
Okay.
Yeah, we can work on that. But yes, anyway, yes. So that's what I would say to you is just be aware to not wear bright colors. Let it just go neutral. Yeah.
Okay. And now what about voice and the microphone?
So voice, so two things. What I'd like you to do is, because you're on camera, is watch the news announcers. When you watch the news, especially, watch the anchors and the colors they wear. Start being attentive to that and their backgrounds. But in terms of voice, you have to remember to breathe, not speak so fast. Ed, you brought this up before about people. Look, we all have accents. I have an accent. I'm from New York. Of course I have an accent. But the thing is, we don't want to speak too fast. We don't want to speak too slow. We do want to speak into and have a good, now I use a headset and a microphone. All right. I just sent away for these little Bluetooth speakers here. You're aware of those? These little guys? They fit into your ear so that you don't have the headset. Although I will tell you, I just trust my headset wired when I'm online a little better. Computer sound is fine, but the bottom line is rehearse.
Okay.
Open your own Zoom account. If you have to, have a Zoom meeting with yourself so that you see yourself on the screen before others see you.
Yeah.
Oh, that's excellent advice.
Good advice.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. And back to Yvonne from World Bank Family Network based in Washington. She's got 7,000 contacts. Is it, Yvonne? Is that the right word? 7,000 in your network?
I think Yvonne had to leave, Ed. She just a few seconds ago said she's sorry, but she had an urgent meeting she had to jump into.
Okay, that's great. So Dianne, again, thank you very much for putting up with me and our technical difficulties. And Paul will do a little snip and tuck on editing here, and then we'll get this ready for on demand in a day or two. So I thank you, Mark, once again. Thank you, Sandrine.
Thank you, Dianne. That was really good.
Thank you. Reach out to me, please. Reach out to me. Yes.
Yeah, just so you know, tomorrow's program is featuring a trainer, Melinda Stallings, speaks in front of banking executives and others about positive conflict resolution techniques that she has perfected with help from lawyers and some others, about how to avoid negative conflicts. All conflicts can be negative for sure, but how you resolve them is where the win-win, the true win is. And so she's an expert at that. But she lives in New Orleans, and she's a professor at the Louisiana State University nearby, and they are getting slammed today.
Yes.
And they had firefighters and her and some other people sandbagged her house, which is in a bayou area,
Oh,
and they're expecting to get flooded, if not wiped out.
Wow.
So
I know
obviously-
this is actually not, this is not a good thing. This is 2 in 1.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so I don't know if we're going to have a show tomorrow. I won't know for a few hours, but it doesn't look good. So just so you know, August 28th, we have a wonderful show. Sandrine will be back with us.
Yeah.
Also, Sandra Corona from Saudi Arabia, and Rohit Manuka from Coca-Cola and UAE, and others. And it's going to be a wonderful dialogue, and we'll get it all together, I promise.
Yes.
Thank you very much for being on Global TV.